FFTV logo?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Go for it, Dino.
Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. As some of you will know, I said I was having a night off tonight, but Wolverines got a little bit of issues dealing with, so it'll be here shortly. So I'm going to take over till then. Power. Okay, I don't know how to press the flashy Forest Fan TV thing up, so we'll have to go without that. So we'll start off just by a general going around, see how everybody's feeling, see what they think we need to do against Fulham tomorrow night. So we'll start off with
I'll do it now.
Huh?
Come back,
Right.
Wolfie.
I must say a big shout out to Neil the cat. You all right, mate? Right, okay. So we'll start off with our guest tonight, Martin, one of our favourite followers. So how are you feeling in general, mate? And what do you think we need to do tomorrow night?
Well, a bit disappointed still from the other night, and hopefully we can get 3 points. Good performance, and I just don't want to see any more bad performances. I'm just worried. I'm going to the game tomorrow night, and I'm just worried that I'm going tomorrow night, and I'm dreading it. And I'm just hoping that it can switch it up a bit and make sure that the players are on it, at it, and it's not going to be another horrible low blocking game, which I went to Brighton last year and I didn't really enjoy. So hopefully, we can kick up the backside and get them going again.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, would you prefer us to try and low block our way for a point, or do you think we ought to try and be a bit more aggressive and see if we can pick up 3?
I think it's Cooper's nature, isn't it, to fall back into this low blocking situation, because last year when we was getting beat and there was net was on the block, he went back to type and he went back to a way of getting points and a way of getting results. And I think that's what he's comfortable doing. And I think we're going to struggle. The poor sides, we are struggling to break down and put that into our away records. It's going to be, a challenge, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, do you know, how about you? How are you feeling, mate? And what are you expecting out of tomorrow night or hoping for?
I'm not confident. He'll be interested to see what he does, actually. Whether he does go to that back 5 low block away, because I know people keep saying it, but we could be relegation fodder if we're not careful. We do have to be careful. What I'm more interested in is whether the players step up for him or not. Everybody knows he's under pressure. It's in the national media. If the players really love Cooper, they'll bleed for him tomorrow. That's what I'm more interested in seeing, I think. I just want to see a good performance. If we lose, we lose. If we draw, we draw. But, I just want to see effort. And that's what I've not seen, certainly in the last, minus a few players in the last couple of games. Chat, Martin's a home and awayer, by the way, so he's hardcore. So he's only 21. He looks a bit older than that, obviously. But yeah,
he's been watching us, hasn't he? So
he has been watching us.
Martin, you look about 30 years younger than Wolverine, and you're the same age.
Paul Marks, thank you very much for becoming a member, my friend. Welcome to the Madhouse. Welcome to the Madhouse. Crypto, how are you feeling? Are you feeling like suicidal, or Cooper can pull it out of the bag?
I like to go into games with some optimism. So I think we can grab a win. One thing I would say is, never mind playing for Cooper. The players should be playing for the fans, for people like Martin, especially making the effort to go down there. All the money that the fans spend, the time, it's the middle of winter, and people are giving their time and money to go and follow their team. So if the players aren't going to play for Cooper, then they should definitely be playing for the fans. I think we'll have a good go. Obviously, last season we lost both games against Fulham, and they have got a good manager and a good setup. I don't really think they've got that many standout players, maybe Polinia. I think on paper we should beat them, but obviously based on recent form, it's going to be a challenge. But I'd like to see us have a good go, and I think we've got to go in it with belief, a bit like the Villa game, and just think that we can turn them over.
Can I just address this as an interesting point? I'd like to hear from Martin, especially as he's a home and an awayer. Nigel Jensen said that if you booed Forest at the end of the last game, you're not a proper fan. How do you feel about that?
Well, I booed, and obviously, what's he got to say about that then? Home and away. I booed, and a lot of our block booed, and a friend of mine, 5 rows in front of me, nearly got into a fight because it gone to a bit of a, what you booing for? Get behind the team. I'm frustrated. I'm booing the team. The team performance is not good enough. I'm in right to make my opinion, and so end of the day, doesn't make you not a fan if you boo just because you're frustrated. It's frustration coming out, and that's the first time I heard that around all the ground. Normally hear a bit of a boo and it stops, but I heard it loud and clear around the ground.
I mean, I personally don't boo, not because I'm against it. People, bloody hell, you're paying enough money, and I think that I kind of disagree with booing whilst the game's going on, because I think you should support your team whilst the going on. But once the game's finished, I think you've got every right to express your opinion on what you've just been served up, especially as, in my opinion, going on with what Dino said, we perceive a lack of effort. That's the big thing. If you perceive a lack of effort, I think you've got every right to boo. What do you think, Dino?
I was just going to say, I've never booed personally.
Yeah.
I just think it's a bit pantomimey. Yeah, it's no other reason. I don't have any strong feelings, and I certainly fully support people that do boo. It's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. But if you go out to a restaurant and you have a bad meal, you complain. Yeah. In life we complain when we get a bad service, and I'm sorry to make it that clinical, but
that's right.
And again, it's the I know it drives people mad, but the amount these footballers are paid, the very least they can do is put a shift in. Yeah. They might make mistakes, they might mess up, but put a shift in. And that's what really annoyed me. Certainly I started to see it at Brighton, but then the weekend, man, at Everton, it was just terrible.
I think it made it all the more stark because you could see how their players were fighting for their manager and their club.
Yeah,
it really showed, didn't it? What about you, Ez? How do you feel about it?
I've got to echo what everyone else has said, but one fundamental thing, I think we need to break it down to, because we're supporters and we're fanatics of our club, this kind of gets overlooked. But end of the day, these guys, these highly paid footballers, highly paid prima donnas, some of them are in the entertainment business. Primarily, they're entertainers, and we're not being entertained. And now we're paying a hell of a lot of money these days to see some sort of fight. That's what we wanted. That's what my overriding thing was. Anything else wanted to see some fight, and it definitely was no fight from our side on Saturday, but we did see it from Everton. We saw it from their fans, we saw it from their manager, we saw it from their players. They all are in it together. So when Cooper goes on about this collectiveness that we've got behind the scenes and stuff like that, I think he's talking shit, to be honest, and I think he's papering over some cracks, because obviously everyone's heard the rumours about Worrell and the Larwood and what was said. Now, if your club, let's say they're true, let's just say hypothetically, if your club captain is coming out and saying those things, is that not an underlying? Is there not an underlying problem? And is there not a problem in the dressing room? Because I believe there is. But I don't want to go back to the Cooper bashing thing. But yeah, I think there's problems.
Definitely. Yeah, but the problem not be with Worrell. If Worrell thinks that he's better than the rest of the defence that we've got, then he's delusional.
That's true. That's true. But there's obviously been a fallout, and if you're falling out with your club captain, how do those pebbles? How does that affect the rest of the team? Because it's going to have some effect. I would say, without a doubt, there's cliques in that dressing room. There has to be. Yeah. There's language barriers all over the place. There has to be cliques.
I don't know whether we should say. I don't know whether we should say anything, because they're only rumours. And if we do say, I mean, I don't know the exact
Yeah,
rumor. I've kind of heard sort of second, third hand, but they are just rumors, and people are asking now what's happened to Worrell.
I don't think we should say. I mean, if you want to find out what was said, go on Twitter and search Worrell and Larwood, which is the name of the pub.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. We don't know if it's true. It's just
it could be completely false.
Yeah,
but don't you think that it with him being left out of the squad, don't you think that kind of adds fuel to the flames?
Maybe, but I think that's down to, I don't know whether there's a falling out there or whether he just fell down the pecking order. There's a few good players in front of him, to be fair.
There are.
You know.
There are.
So then, guys.
Go on, mate. Go on.
No, I was going to say there's bigger issues, and it's not just what we're seeing on the pitch for me, because I don't see a collectiveness. I don't see the players fighting for each other. And I said in the last stream that we haven't had a convincing win since we've been back in the Premier League. We've had some very lucky wins, home and away, but we haven't had a convincing win since we've been back in the Premier League. And the way we're playing, I can't see one of those coming either. It's probably time for us to be more. We're scrutinizing it as far as fans, and we should be allowed to. But going back to whether people should be allowed to boo or not, you pay your money, you take your choice. I don't boo myself either. I've said it, and we've all agreed on this. But I've got nothing against somebody else doing that, and I don't know where Nigel Jempson, who works for the club, let's not forget, he's an ambassador for the club. You know, but if Cooper came out and said that, what would the reaction be? If Cooper came out and said you don't have a right to boo, would he say that? So who's he speaking for? Is he speaking for the club, or is he speaking on his own behalf? Because
I'm really surprised, Des. I don't know about you, but I'm really surprised he came out and said, with him being an official representative of the club. It's very dangerous. When you start criticising fans, you're on really shaky ground. They're the last people you want to upset, because it will come back to bite you.
I know we're on here to talk about Fulham, and we will get onto that. I do need to go shortly, just for half an hour. But I just want to quickly cover the annoyance, I suppose, that we have this badge that if you do this, you don't support the club. If you do this, if you Cooper out, you're not a true supporter. I mean, Ant and I go back a long way to before many of you were born. Watching Forest, you know, I first went down with my dad, you know, long time ago, 40 plus years, and I've always been a supporter through thick and thin. And I've had season tickets. I've sometimes had times off when I've not gone to the ground, you know, but it doesn't not make me a supporter because I have an opinion, and so is the opinion of people that are pro Cooper. They're supporters too for me. I think I just wanted to mention that because there's becoming a real division between the fans, and that's sad for me.
Yeah, I think
as well. I know we're quite often over passionate in the heat of the moment on certain subjects, but we're still all fans, guys. We're still all fans.
Well, that's it, Gino. Sometimes we all lose it a little, you know.
Yeah, of course we do,
and that's because we're fans. I mean, you go down the ground and the opposition scores, and you're effing and blinding and calling people crap and all sorts. You know, it's how it is at football, and I can't understand why. Well, let's face it, football is being sanitized all over the place anyway. You know, the PC brigade are in there, and you didn't say anything because you immediately labelled, aren't you? You immediately labelled.
Trust me, if you anti-establishment. If you gave me Cooper's job, you'd all be Dino out. There'd be no division.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I mean, you did predict Shelby getting a 35-yarder, and a year and a half later, he did score
it was 20 yards out as well, wasn't it? It was 55 yards, wasn't it?
I know, but you know,
Nico Williams ahead at A&R, you know, a bit controversial.
You know that octopus that Crypto brought this up actually in the chat a couple of weeks ago. That octopus that used to predict the World Cup.
Oh yeah,
that's about my level of prediction. That.
I think the difference is when you fried him up, he tasted lovely. That's the difference.
Listen, I've got to go. We'll be back. I will be back.
All right, you take care. Drive carefully.
I will.
Dino's got a good point. I think you've got to first and foremost support the club as Nottingham Forest. Everyone will have a different opinion on Cooper, but at the end of the day, everybody still supports the same club, and people do get passionate about it, and people do swear at the ground and say things and call people crap in the heat of the moment. And sometimes the streams can get emotional, but it's just because everybody cares at the end of the day. It doesn't mean anybody's opinion is right and everyone else's is wrong. It's just everyone's there for one cause, which is wanting to see Nottingham Forest do the best they can.
Yeah, of course. I hope Ezra's back. Are we in, out, shaking it all about?
I just having a cheeky smoke. No, I was going to say that, but if I've watched a couple of the other streams over the last couple of days, and I've got to say I'm quite embarrassed by some of the comments I'm seeing in some of the other streams. More people more upset about the Garibaldi red display than the Nottingham Forest display on Saturday, and then if you read the comments afterwards, the majority of the fans commenting on it are saying what we're saying. So when you go on these other streams and you see only one angle, and we had Rob on to kind of balance it out, to give you the other side of it. But the majority of us are quite realistic, and it doesn't make us any less Forest fans than the one who is the happy clapper. Do what you want to do, but I'm really sick of this mentality that you can't speak up against something, even if you see that it's wrong. And it's indicative of society. And I don't want to keep drawing the parallels.
That's what I was saying, Ed. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, go back to what we went over the last few years. You know, anybody who was against having a needle put in them was called an anti-whatever, you know, and was shot down straight away. You can't have an opinion that goes against the narrative anymore for fear of being shot down. But what I have noticed a lot is people saying, you know, I've been feeling this like this for a while, but I've been scared to say it, you know, but time for a change. You
know what makes me laugh is that I always know the wavering happy clappers, if you want to call that, because they're always the ones that when it's, are you Cooper in, Cooper out? They're always ones on the fence. If they're on the fence, that means you're actually out, but you can't bring yourself to say it. That's what I reckon anyway.
That's same as when Wolverine was predicting the score earlier. He said he was standing on the fence, but really he wants to say that he think we'll win 5-0.
Yeah,
we won't, but we might do. But yeah, I think I mean, someone's just made the comment.
Dave. Sorry,
I was just going to say.
Yeah, good to see Dave. Sorry, mate, I got to say, can remember as at the end of the game came up, had his photo taken with us.
Yes.
He said his name was Dave. I meant to give him a shout out last night, but I've got a brain like a sieve at my age.
Yeah, somebody said we're trying to divide the fan base, which is not true at all. I mean, we literally had Rob on last stream to give an alternative opinion. So dividing the fan base is not something we're trying to do. We always welcome everybody's opinion.
And you know what? The fact of the matter is that if Steve Cooper was to leave his job and we brought in a manager and we won the next 3 games, nobody'd be bothered about Steve Cooper. That's like in the past. Thanks for all that. But, you know, football fans are fickle. I'm fickle. I'm a football fan. And we're entitled to change our minds, and we're entitled to move on if we want to. Nobody's got the right to tell you what to say or what to think, you know.
Well, we actually go on to actually talking about tomorrow's game, which is what we're here for. Can I just throw another curveball in? We're seeing what's happening at Sheffield United now. They've sacked Heckingbottom. They're bringing Wilder back in. I had this picture. Can you see us in a couple of years' time? Say we go through a yo-yo period. We sack Cooper, and then in 2 years' time we end up bringing him back in.
I thought you were going to say sack Cooper and bring Houghton in.
I end up bringing Cooper back in 2 years' time because of the fans' loyalty to him. Look, end of the day, my loyalty is to Nottingham Forest, and it always will be. Managers will come and go, players will come and go, even we will come and go. The club is going to stay as it is, you know, and no man, no player, no manager is above the club. You know, it's bigger than the club. So what I want is the best for my club, and whatever way we get to it, I want the best outcome for Nottingham Forest, and that's all I want, you know. And I don't care who the next manager is, but I do think there needs to be change. Anyway, going back to tomorrow's game, Martin, are you travelling down to Fulham tomorrow?
Yeah, get on the coach. about 1 o'clock. Yeah, but at least the weather's warmed up, so I'm actually quite glad, because just about recovered from the frostbite from Saturday, you know, because that was like one of the coldest games I've been to recently, in recent times. I think the only other game I can remember before that was away at Bramall Lane at Sheffield when it was -6 and it was snowing. And I think we had the Beast from the East, and we was at Bramall Lane in -6. And I think Dean Henson was actually in goal for Sheffield United at the time, because he's playing in football. I can remember everyone giving him abuse. And then, yeah, just those Arctic games, it really like chills you to the bones. And when you see a performance like that, you think to yourself, well, if you won and you played well, it's worth it. But when you're standing up there, you're frostbite, you're freezing your tits off, and you're not seeing the effort, you're not seeing the substitutions, and yeah, just the substitutions are really grinding at me, because when Sangari come off, I thought, oh, he's actually changing the forward options. We're going to get, you know, Derek Aribi on, and we didn't get it. We got Hudson Odoi on, and that's the thing that annoyed me, because Origi was like kryptonite to Everton. You know, they see he come onto that pitch, and I was looking at the body language, and they were petrified. They were. You know,
I don't know what. Well, I do know why.
It's psychology. He scored against them last minute. Pickford's going in his mind, oh, he's going to score again in the last minute again against me, and you know, just that type of thing. But other than that, yeah, Fulham. I don't know what team he's going to play. He's going to go for a false 9. I was still going to get Chris Wood up front. Are we going to have a 5-4-1? I don't know. I really don't know.
Hi guys.
Bring him in.
Right. Let me just say this, Wolfie, before you read this out. I'm going to shoot off, lads, because it was meant to be my night off tonight.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
No worries, mate. I'm always glad to help. You know that. So I'll leave you lot to it, because to be honest with you, I ain't really got a lot to say about tomorrow. That's the honest truth. I haven't got a lot to say. I'm just going to watch it and see what happens, because I don't know. So I'll leave you guys to it, and
bless you.
I'll enjoy the rest of the show. Cheers,
Thanks.
guys.
Take care, Ant. You read.
Hey guys. Martin, you're in charge now.
Although like top of the pedestal.
Yeah. Will with the £5. Let me just read the super chat out and I'll do my apologies. Does anyone want a free ticket for Big Norm's event tomorrow night? Thursday night. Not tomorrow, mate. Unable to attend now, as we have family to look after. Trust me, look after your family, mate. So if that's at the In for a Penny, we'll be hosting that. It'll be a live event with Big Norm. He's got some really good stories. So if you want to come in, just message Will. He'll sort you out the spare ticket. I think the event's sold out now. Thursday night. Phil said he's doing an Ez. Thank you for the other £2. That's cost you more than the ticket, Will. You should shut up. Oh god. But yeah, just someone message Will, or if you want, I'm sure he won't mind if you WhatsApp us. If you want to do it offline, I'm sure we're okay to give him your number just to communicate with you. Boys, what an evening.
Bless you, man. Everything all right?
Oh, thankfully they're all safe, but they were just driving home from school and a woman comes out of her driveway. They're doing about 30, maybe 30, 40 miles an hour, whatever the speed limit is. And she just goes straight into the side of him, absolutely writes off the front right of the car. And I get the call. Hi. Obviously from a panicked Mrs. Wolverine. I can't make heads or tails of what she's saying. And I don't have a car anymore. So I've gone from having 2 cars to 1 car to now no cars. So I had to call my brother, who's just useless. His phone was off. Couldn't get hold of him because I'm trying to get there to help him out. And then so I had to call my sister instead. Sci-Fi Monkey, that sister of mine who actually helps me, regardless of what you say. But and then she came over. She came in her car. She had to go to the crash site. She picked the kids up. And then poor Twist of Fate came down as well. We just stood there in the freezing cold. We got rid of them all. And then we waited for the tow truck and what have you. But yeah, it was an experience. And then I've just had to go. Now we've got no car, so I had to go get my mum's car so they can get to school tomorrow. But it's done. Everyone's safe, and that's the main thing. But yeah, careful when you're driving out there. Careful when you're driving out there. But you guys have been great. I've been listening to you guys on the way back, and thank you for all the nice messages in the chat. Yes, I think you guys are better off without me, to be honest. I was quite intrigued. And I know you were talking about the other podcasts and stuff. What I will add about that is that I think there needs to be more of them, to be honest. And shout out to Matt with what he's doing at Football Focus. And I thought Max and Sarah did a really good job today as well. Because for me, I don't watch FFTV. I hate the sound of my own voice. So the more of these podcasts that are around and other content being created, it's actually entertainment for me. And I like that they don't have similar views. I got to add, yeah, I agree with what everyone was saying on Gemmo. Completely out of line. Completely out of line. It's ridiculous what he said. But yeah, make sure you're supporting all of them because, as we always say, Forest.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. There's the idiot there. He couldn't be bothered to help. Exactly.
That's a Spurs fan for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Brennan Johnson left us for.
Simon F with the £5. So much FFTV content, all doing a grand job alongside their own lives, jobs, and stresses. It's massively appreciated, bro. We love doing it, man. We just love that you guys are here chilling with us. Have you guys started getting into this Fulham game yet? I missed the last couple of minutes.
Not really, no. We're just about to.
Yeah, Martin said a little bit, but I just want to ask Martin. You know, what is your thought process going in tomorrow's game? Because are you expecting anything out of it? Are you just looking for a reaction? You're looking for a result? What is your hope going into that game?
What I want, well, the obvious 3 points. I want 3 points, obvious, but what I want to see is like guts, determination, drive, honestly, goals. I want to see an entertaining game. I just want to see a cracking goals, some penalties, some controversies, maybe a red card, in our favour. And, the Brighton game, even though we lost, I think, we had a bit of something about us to, we scored and then we got the penalty back and we had 10 men, we had 20 minutes against 10 men, we was at them and was going for it. And you just want to see them putting the bodies on the line and giving everything the course, and the manager making the right substitutions at the right time, and obviously playing like round holes and square pegs. I forgot that right. And we just want to see entertaining football, and just none of this. We give it a go. Not we turn up. We barely have a kick. We barely have a shot on target. We're 3-0 down at half time, and we're like, what's that? And you think the amount of money they spent on the team this year, you think, well, it's better than last year. And we're just looking for that tiny bit of progression, because at the moment, we're like sitting, 4th from bottom. And you think, so if it weren't for, say, the points reduction, the false position, we can be finishing like 4th from bottom. And it's worrying, considering the fixtures coming up, that if we don't start picking up the points tomorrow, Wolves, the teams around us, then what chance have we got against the games late on in the month?
Mine, we got some killer games, didn't we? We got my idiot brothers team next. We got is it Newcastle after that? No, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Man U, isn't it? Something like that. I can't remember the exact order.
Boxing Day, Newcastle, Man United, Spurs on Sky Sports Friday night under the lights. Boxing Day, 12:30 Sky Sports. So don't expect any points there. But yeah, you just want to see effort, determination, driving.
Martin just ruined Christmas in one sentence.
Yeah.
Sky Sports. Does anyone else hate Forest being on Sky Sports? I really can't stand it, man. I just feel like we're jinxed.
It's depressing, aren't it? Depressing watches. Just the Palace game, Everton game, the games on Sky Sports do tend to be like, really boring.
Yeah, I want to be a little positive, right? Do you think Forest can do a Forest? When the chips feel down, when everything's going against us, can we do a Forest and get a win?
You mean, can we pull a rabbit out of our asses? I think we can. I think that, but again, I just think it'll be, unless, you know, like I say, there's got to be a massive change. And it doesn't take, for football fans in general, we're not that demanding, you know. Put in an early tackle, you know, show some fight, show some passion. That usually gets us up off our seats. You know, it doesn't really take much, but you do need to see some fight. If I see some fight, if I see a definite game plan, which wasn't, apart from low block and hope for a draw against Everton, if I see a definite game plan where we're trying to do something and get a result out of this game, then, you know, I can change my mind quite quickly. But this is not a decision I've come to, and I stand by what I've said. I'm not going to flip-flop back, even if, unless we win 10 games in a row, I'm not going to flip-flop back. My point is, this has not happened over one game. It's been a progressive thing over the last season and a half because of the way we're playing, and I'm embarrassed by what we're seeing. So I don't like watching us on TV. I don't like seeing us on TV because of non-Forest fans are watching that. I'm thinking they're shit, and they're right, and it's embarrassing watching us. So from that point of view, no, I don't like being on TV. But like I say, I mean, crypto, you can. It doesn't take much, doesn't it, to please the football fan? You just want to see some fight, don't we, tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite players at the moment is Alanga for that very reason. I know he doesn't always have the best game, but you can see the fight and passion and determination in everything that he does, really. There's a few players like that on the pitch. Murillo would be one of them as well. So yeah, I think even the games that you lose, if you show at least that you're trying and you want to win, then it's not as bad as when you just give up, like we did against Everton, and it's just awful football. You've got to go into the game, I think, being positive and thinking we can win. I know a lot of people think that we're probably going to lose against Fulham or draw, but I think you've got to go in with the expectation that we can beat them. Are they what, 2 points ahead of us, 2 or 3 points ahead of us? So, you know, on paper it's a pretty equal match. Yes, we're away, but after the Everton game, I think the whole team and Cooper have got a lot to prove. So for me, this is probably one of the most important games of the season, because this is going to tell us if the Everton game is something that's going to become reoccurring, or was it just a one-off where we had a bad day. So it'll be interesting, but I think we can win. We've got the team. So if the players stick it to them, then we should be able to get some points.
I think this is quite interesting. There's a lot of guys saying they just don't like watching full stop. And I did kind of confess to it on today's video. I don't know if I was right to or not, but honestly, it's how I'm feeling. It takes me until maybe 15, 20 minutes before the game starts to start to feel that, you know, there's knots in the stomach, that little All Forest are playing. Whereas a few weeks ago, like since the Houghton days, I haven't felt like this, to be honest. I just don't look forward to the matches that much. And maybe that makes me a fake fan. I don't know. But honestly, I don't know if it's a shared feeling. I don't know if I'm allowed to feel that way. You know, what the rules are. I haven't checked the Happy Clapper manual on this one. But I just don't feel that, like, excitement about it. And I think what it is that I know what I'm about to see. It's the same as I saw last week, as the week before. Am I allowed to feel like that? I don't know, chat. I don't know if that's a lie, but
a month or so ago when Cooper changed it up from back 5 to back 2, you know, or back 4, whatever you want to call it. That was kind of exciting, because that was like he's re-energizing the team. The lineup was good. The lineup was interesting. It's what we wanted to see. I think a lot of it for me depends on the lineup an hour before the game. If I see Chris Wood starting and Joe Worrell on the bench, I'll probably just watch EastEnders instead. But
is that still on?
I don't know. But if it was, you know, what's he called? Ross Kemp, he'd probably be better up front than Chris bloody Wood. But anyway,
I watched EastEnders in like 20 years.
I haven't watched EastEnders in about 20 years.
Same as, you know, last time I watched it, Max Brannan was doing Stacey while Bradley was alive. That's how long ago it was. Do you know what? Me and my missus used to come in, like, sit down, start watching it and stuff. And then after like a year of it, you're like, this is just never going to end. It's like, there's no end to it. So what's the point? What's the point? Yeah.
The Mitchell brothers.
It It was just after that. I never really saw what was Phil's brother called? What was
Phil and Grant?
Grant. I never really saw the Grant time.
And his cousin Billy.
That was the best time. Phil and Grant
yeah.
Mitchell.
Yeah,
You need to go back and watch it. That was like the best
bad that we're talking about EastEnders.
It was so much better than Coronation Street as well, you know.
I've never watched that. I've never watched that. But anyway, back on point, right? Back on point. Let me ask this question to you guys in the chat. I think this is an interesting one. If Forest win tomorrow, how do you feel it looks going ahead? I'm going to try this at you, Martin, to start with. Do you know what I mean? It's like, is it papering over the cracks, or do you think, okay, if we win tomorrow, then let's see what happens against Wolves, maybe a few extra games of Cooper? Well, what's your feeling going to be?
I think it will buy Cooper a bit more breathing space. Because at the moment, when you think about it, if we were to win tomorrow and were to win on Saturday, then everyone will be like, oh, Cooper's obviously the best manager, and it all goes away for another 3, 4, 5 weeks. So I suppose, isn't it, that 1 or 2 wins will just buy you an extra bit of time, because when we beat Aston Villa, I was thinking to myself, Cooper spot on, tactics, got the win, and he celebrated on the pitch, and I walked away thinking, oh, he's safe, he's obviously cracked it, he's got the right formations, tactics spot on. And I couldn't fault him. No one could. And now it's a few defeats, and it's, looks like we've taken one step forward and 2 steps back. And I think, we could. There's nothing to say we're not going to win tomorrow, because I want to see a win tomorrow. I think we all do. And I want to see a win on Wolves. And no one wants to see Cooper act. But again, it's results at the end of the day. And but then again, my worry is, if we don't start picking up the points now, the games are going to get harder, tougher. And what is it, 5 defeats in a row? Something like that, isn't it? If we don't get a win,
it'll be 5.
Stop the rot. Because I think that's going to be important. And you might go, stop the rot, let's just grind out a point, like you wasn't here, but I just said it's going to maybe go back to Brighton, stop the rot, because I was at that game and it was a case of, let's just stop the defeats, just basically, bolt the back door shut and go from there and build again at Wolves.
Are you expecting that, Martin? Are you expecting us? Because I said it in the preview today, it feels like we've come to that Brighton crossroad. Do you think Cooper's going to go old school, low block, 5-3-1?
Yes, part of me feels that, but it depends what the injury situation's like, because I imagine, like, defense-wise, is it Murillo? How he played on with that that dodgy back, because it was twinging it one team when he cleared up one off the post, and he was playing on in pain, and I thought, oh no, he's not going to be out, is he? And but we don't know the injury situation. Has he got the right players to do in the right position? Because we don't know, dude. We just don't know the injury situation. Sangari may be missing. Illness, you don't know if they're suffering from fatigue and flu. You just don't know, do you? Viruses.
Martin, something we were discussing on the last stream. Do you think there's such thing as this Cooper credit if he beats Fulham, 2-0 tomorrow, for example? Does that give him an extra 5 matches regardless of? Yeah,
he's still got. Like you say, he's still got credit in the bank, and you just think that the owner is.
If only has had credit in his internet meter.
Yeah, it's just like you say. The thing is with Cooper, it's that divisive subject into it, and it just breeds that negativity on the club. And then when you think about it, the owner is just worried that if he makes the wrong decision, a fan's backlash, and for all the money and investment, where is it going to get him? It could backfire if he makes that wrong decision. But I suppose it's just swings and roundabouts into credit in the bank, yes. But we know Marinakis is not very patient. He does have a habit of.
I think he's been quite patient with Cooper, though. I think he has been quite patient. I know we were discussing earlier. It is quite divisive, the fan opinion on Cooper, but I think Marinakis has been patient with him. I mean,
why do you think, Crypto? Why do you think he's been patient with him?
Well, it's got to be the fans. I think Marinakis is there for the fans. He genuinely cares about the fans. He puts a lot of money into the club. And whilst there's still fans on side, I think he'll try to please as many of them as he can. It's, there has to come a point, though, where he does make a decision. Cooper could turn it around tomorrow. We could go on a running streak. Personally, I don't really think we will, just based on that Everton match, because I think that was really dire. But it'd be nice to see him do it, Like we were saying earlier, we're all Forest fans at the end of the day. So if we can get wins on the road, then it's good.
Sorry, Chuck has been a prick. Hey,
I was listening to it in the car on the way back. Running from EastEnders.
Yeah, it's time for you. It's just like the revolving door of FFTV crew, isn't it? It's
rolling subs.
And it was rolling subs. That's it.
Yeah.
Dino, wait a minute. Let me ask you this, and I'm interested in the chat's opinion as well. Is the performance important, just as important as the points tomorrow, or is it just points only?
No, I think you've got to have performance first before points, haven't you? I know it sounds really daft,
really?
But if you don't perform very well, then you ain't going to get the points anyway. So we've been so bad in the last 2 games. Mitchell.
Like reverse psychology.
Yeah, no, but I want to see a performance, especially if they want to fight for the manager. He to be fair to Cooper, he's done a lot to bring that group together.
Yeah, but Dina, how if let's say tomorrow they have a really good performance, how would you know it's the manager they're fighting for?
Maybe it could be the fans, it could be anything, it could be their own dignity, their own consciousness. Because looking at the likes of Wood not running around the pitch on the sort of money he's on is just pitiful. So I don't mind Wood playing tomorrow, but he needs to put some effort in, man.
But you know where I'm leading you here? I'm going to corner you. If you're saying the performance is probably the most important thing, let's say Forest have a decent performance and get slapped 3-0 tomorrow. Where's your head going to be at?
Well, I think you won't get slapped with a good performance, would you? That many, unless you're really unlucky. Unless you're really unlucky. It doesn't happen very often.
Just go with my hypothetical. Stop being so obtuse, man.
Stop making shit up.
I'm not
making dumb questions up.
Is this a good question to ask or not? If Forest has a good question,
come with me, chat. I'm the Pied Piper. Mate, listen. Pitiful. Yeah, it's a good word, Anne. Yeah, it was a good word. No, the result's got to come first. Otherwise, you're just spawning the odd result for the rest of the season, aren't you? The results
has to come first. Now you're changing it.
No, that's what I said. Sorry, I meant the performance has to come first. Did I say the result?
Yeah.
Speaking
no, the performance needs to come first.
Kicking in, mate. Your subconscious kicking in.
Mate, you saw this 25 years at EastEnders that I was at. So performance first. I want to see them fight for Cooper tomorrow. That will tell me a lot.
Answer my question.
Oh, God, it's one of these dumbass questions that.
All right, let me give you a simpler version of the question. Good performance tomorrow. Forest lose 1-0. Where's your head at? Can we lose 1-0 with a good performance?
Yeah, that's doable.
Okay. All right. So you're happy with the parameters?
I'm happy with the parameters so far.
Yeah? Okay. So we lose 1-0 tomorrow. Good performance. Where's your head at?
Can I just add one thing into that?
No.
I'm
getting more confused than it is.
The 1-0 is a Chris Wood own goal.
It don't matter. That don't matter. Own goals happen. They just happen. They just sometimes come off you, don't they? Well, they need to keep him out the box for a start. Wood.
Yeah. Or out the city.
Our own box. They need to keep him out.
Keep him out of London.
He's not got good. No, that would be okay for me. The performance is important. I heard when I was in the car, I heard Martin say about he wants to go and see like red card for the team, loads of goals, pennos. Performances are about. We mentioned earlier that it was entertainment. Football is entertainment, and I think this. Simon not Simon F. Simon Jones is often cares more about the result than the performance. He's happy to see a dull. For me, no. I want to see some good performances and play because that's how I was brought up. I was brought up in the Cloughie days.
Dino,
we had good performances.
Follow-up question: is that a one-off? Because if we lose 1-0 to Fulham and then we lose 1-0 to Wolves and then we lose 1-0 again, and every performance is brilliant, then what happens?
You got to look at your strikers, man, and your midfielders, because they're not scoring any goals, are they?
What about the defenders they're conceding?
What, 1 goal each game? That's not too bad in the Prem, is it? In a club of our current stature.
They didn't concede it, we would have got a point. So why would the blame lie with the strikers to start with?
Well, three goals in 3 games against and no goals up front.
If they'd kept clean sheets, would have at least got 1 point out of each of those games.
Ever walked into a strange, like, weird zone?
I'm having a stressful afternoon, yeah? You're just going to have to live with my made-up premises, man, right?
Yeah, this is it. This is it here. Right there, look. It's a results business. You've got to score more than your opponent.
It's a performance business.
You can't bring up what Vic is saying when you said performance.
Yeah, performance is good, but what you're saying is if we play a 38-game season and played really well each game and lost 1-0,
I did not
we're in
say
another
that.
dimension there, mate. It doesn't happen.
Fulham tomorrow, 1-0,
I'm in the
loss,
Matrix,
good
James.
Performance. Where's your head at? Are you doing?
Okay, 3 good performances. 3 good performances give me hope, but there's obviously something wrong with the attack if we can't break or score against 3 teams consecutively.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I can tell you
that is
exactly
down to
what
either players, recruitment, or tactics.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer, Laurie. Thank you very much. Standards. Go on, Ez. Ask, did you hear the question? Were you here for the...
Yeah. So in the context of where we are at the moment, say you had 3 fantastic performances and 3 1-0 results. That's 7 defeats in a row, and that's 1 win in what 15, 16. That's for context. So a performance isn't good enough at this stage.
Well, Ez, I can't let you spread your fake news. Apologies, bro. 1 win in 50. It would be 1 win in 11, right?
No, if we lost the next 3, I'm talking about.
Oh, the next 3, 11, 12,
13,
13. I just want to be factually correct here.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. It's a ballpark. But that's context. So no, then in that context, performances aren't good enough. It has to be results. Ideally, you marry the 2, but we haven't been able to do that, and that is the bone of contention for me. But I don't see any real signs, and that's why I wanted to know where Martin's head was at going down to this, because it's a long journey. You paid a hell of a lot of money, and you're going to see something where have you got really any hope that you're going to come back with a point or 3? And is that more important than the result for you? For you, as somebody who's paying to go down there, what's most important for you tomorrow?
Just before you answer that, Martin, the better looking of the Spencer brothers has asked for a poll, which is already up there, my friend. And if you can't see it, it says, which is more important for you? Performance is the top result. I know some of you still having issues seeing the poll. The bottom one is the result. 60% are saying the result. Namesake of Dino's brother. Back over to you.
For me, going down tomorrow, I seem to think that if you were to, completely opposite of Dino, if you were to get the points, people would overlook the performance. So if you were to go there, smash and grab, 1-0, people would overlook the performance. They'd be like, we played crap, but we got 3 points in the bag and we're on the way back home. So again,
which is what we said against Sheffield United, wasn't it? We played crap against Sheffield United, but we got the points. You overlook it.
People tend to overlook it, and where we are in the league, obviously the points would make a massive difference. And then you think to yourself, well, let's just get ourselves out of this sticky patch, and that's what people do. You know, people would say performance, that would be nice, but where we are
sticky patch is nearly a year and a half, though, Martin.
Possible, so.
The sticky patch is nearly a year and a half, and the point is, you cannot get regular results without the performance first. You might scrape the odd 1-0, but over a 10-game period, a 20-game period, a 6-game period, it doesn't matter. If you're not putting the performance on in the pitch, you will not get the results.
Dino, but are we past that point now?
You're not going to look it out every week, are you? Not a chance.
We're past the point of where a performance is going to be enough to keep the wolf from the door, because it has changed. The climate has changed. Now, after every single defeat, Cooper's going to have to handle questions about his future. That's inevitable now. That's going to happen now, whether he likes it or not. So for him, results are far more important than the performances. And
they are for him.
Yeah. So what about for us as a fan base? Are we going to just settle for a couple of good performances and still losing against these teams? Because on the balance of things, we know the context is our away performances are shocking. So let's reverse it. Let's hypothetical. I know you love my hypotheticals. Imagine these next two games were at home. Imagine these next two games were at home, and you'd think you got a better chance of getting a result. Would you just settle for two good performances and not getting those results? Because it doesn't tally up.
Of course, it wouldn't. Of course, it wouldn't. That wasn't his original question. And what he's done here is he's let a firework. Huh?
Don't bring me into this. I haven't said a word.
It was your original question. It was your original question.
Don't do a Colin on me. Don't divert.
I'm not doing a Colin on you. At the end of the day, the performance is important to get the points, isn't it? Of course, the points are important.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
At the end of the season, I'd agree with you. You'd just scrap if you're going down and you need to scrap and win ugly, then you win ugly. But you don't go into a season planning to win ugly, do you? Not where we are. There's nothing changed. There's nothing changed, Des, other than Forest. None of the other clubs have changed. There's still the other clubs. There's still the other clubs who played last year, more or less. The only thing that's changed is the confidence is rock bottom. Cooper's job is again under threat for probably the fourth time he's had a vote of confidence, right? The players aren't clicking for whatever reason, and it's his job to make them click. So the performance is vital. And my point about the performance is the players, which are not, they're not out of it, because, a lot of pressure's gone on Cooper.
Yeah.
Fucking players need to pull it out of the back because they're the ones on the pitch. And they need to do something for their manager that loves them and has created this beautiful community. We see it every day on the Forest channel, the training, how well they all get on. Well, it's time to knuckle down, boys, and play for your manager because he needs you right now. So we need a performance tomorrow. Win, lose, or draw, we need a performance.
Which is the perfect segue to my question to Crypto now, right? Dino's claiming that Cooper's done this lovey-dovey environment. Are the players playing for Cooper? I don't know the answer to this. And I don't agree it's a lovey-dovey environment. I mean, I heard you guys talking about the rumors of Joe Worrell. We know there's been beef with Scarpa, Bardet, with O'Brien. There's been some cross beef with Yates and there, Dennis. I mean, the list, you can make a team from them, yeah? But are they playing for them? But let me give you the poll results first, because Dino was wrong according to the chat. 65% of you saying the result is more important than the 36% who said the performance is more important. So shove that up your pipe, Dino. Go on, Ben.
It's bullshit, man.
Yeah. I just wanted to give
performances.
No, let
me finish and I'll drop this. You need performances to get results long term.
Let me give a quick analogy to just end this argument. Ez's performance of his internet is 1,000 megabytes per second, but the result is it doesn't work.
Perfect analogy. Perfect analogy.
It's the truth. So yeah, I think.
How are they playing for him? God.
No. That's all I've got. No.
I think we'll see tomorrow, won't we? We'll see
after
tomorrow.
The Everton game, it just looked a bit different to me. The Everton game, you could really see the people who were trying. They stood out way more than. So if a player stands out, normally the other players aren't too far behind. But for the Everton game, there was one or two players maybe who really stood out, and the rest of them just looked like they didn't care. Whether it's Cooper who's lost the dressing room, I'm not quite sure. But something must have happened going into that game where they didn't have the belief. So, like Dino says, they need to get that back tomorrow. Or, yeah, I think if we lose tomorrow with a similar performance to Everton, then I think that would be the end of Cooper. Yeah, I mean, as Carol says, we haven't had that many convincing runs.
Yeah.
Even the Villa match, which we did well in.
Crypto wins. Forget a run. My God, run is like. Let's worry about. He going to runs him, and
I've got runs on the mind. I can't even run myself.
You've got a treadmill. What's wrong with you? What do you think that's for? Giving the dog a walk.
It's all the way in the corner, you know.
It's true. Troll's right. I genuinely don't think we've had one convincing win. Maybe Brighton last year.
Yeah, it was close at times.
Well, we're behind in that game, so could you call that convincing? But
that shows passion, doesn't it? Similar to the Liverpool Fulham match. For Liverpool to come back with, I think there was about 8 minutes left, for them to come back and score 2 goals at home to take that win. That mindset there is the complete polar opposite to what we had at Everton.
Can I cover this comment here? I've just starred. This will be interesting for me.
Yes, let's get into this.
Because I think he brought Yates in to be a bit of his saviour. Yates to be a bit of his saviour. Now I'm
for him then, mate. What the
wondering whether we'll see a different, not only lineup, but some different personnel, like Felipe playing a full game, like Santos making a starting appearance, because it feels a bit desperate now to me.
Santos is not playing.
It's reaching that point, isn't it? Origi starting up front, or the U23 boy. You know, it's.
You guys made an interesting point about Dino, you and Wolverine, about maybe playing Murillo CDM.
Yeah, that was my idea. Dino copied it.
No, it wasn't. Get stretched. You get stretched. You laughed at me when I said that. Murillo CDM. He's got passing ability.
At you, not at your idea. I was laughing at you, right? Yeah. And then I processed your idea. Granted, it took me 2 weeks to process it. This man.
It's normal.
Yeah, because I was sitting here thinking, you know who else he does look like, speaking of EastEnders? He looks like Max Brannan's dad, man. He could be Max Brannan's dad, you know?
It's called Max Brannan. It's just the fact that it's Max Brannan's dad now. That's the fact that I'm getting old. But it used to be Max Brannan when I was younger.
But I
can't dance, by the way. He did quite well in the Strictly, didn't he?
How Stacey did.
He's in the kitchen at the minute.
Marlene, I love you, really. No, but seriously. The more I think about this Murillo idea, the less silly I think you are, Dino. It's my
Cheers for that. He's got all the attributes, though, hasn't he? He's got all the attributes. He can dribble. He could definitely pass, and he can tackle.
He can't shoot, though.
That's all right. CDM. He's not. We're not putting him in the M position, are we?
like seriously, it was like I don't know. Huh?
A striker can't shoot.
That's true. He had more shots on goal than our striker did in the last match. True. Yeah. But okay,
it's not a silly game up front.
No,
that's desperation,
isn't
it?
That seriously. Is there anyone in the chat who doesn't think Dino's crazy? In fact, let's do a poll on it. Is Dino crazy or not? Right?
No, just not generally crazy, just crazy over this one. We're all going to vote I'm crazy. If we just keep it to this point.
Can you not remember Greg Halford back in the day, our defender, who ended up playing
Billy?
He scored a few goals.
He did, he's like 6'18", wasn't he?
But all right, let's do this poll. Is Dino crazy or not? Just on Murillo. We know he's already crazy, right? But okay, let me rephrase it. Would anyone play Murillo in midfield? That we'll go with that.
CDM, not midfield. CDM.
Okay, CDM. Sorry.
It's got to be right, man. I'd be interested to see this.
I'd even put.
Right, let me sell it. Let me sell it to the chat before you vote.
Oh, like you sold Shelby. Okay, good luck.
Dino, if he did play CDM post game, would you analyze him on his performance, or if he actually scored as any goals?
For me, it's about being a playmaker from there and being able to tackle. That's where I come from. I don't care if he doesn't score any goals from there. It's about being confident on the ball. He's strong. He's like an ox, so he's going to hold any players off. And he can just literally pass onto a sixpence anywhere on the pitch. I mean, that's got to be.
Yeah, he is a really good
some funny comments, man.
I don't know how he's so strong, because he's only like as tall as Ez.
He's the tank. He's massive.
I'm still there, man.
All right, wait. Just to clarify, the poll is Dino correct? No, it's not. Would you play Murillo in CDM? Top answers, yes. Especially shout out for Emma here. Bottom answer is no. Okay, so those are your votes, and then we can. I still want to do it as Dino crazy poll after this, right?
Do it. Do it. I don't care. It's going to go the other way, though, isn't it? It's going to go too many yeses.
Martin,
Even my brother would vote yes. That's the annoying thing.
He'd know best. He'd know best. All right, Brandon can't vote. Yes, I can't vote. I don't know what YouTube have done. Right, speak to YouTube on Twitter. At YouTube on Twitter.
Really.
Martin, would you consider Murillo in CDM? Because I'll tell you what, the only reason I'm agreeing with the crazy man is because then you could put Felipe and Niakate behind him in a 2. If we're stuck, he can drop in between them, create the 3, God forbid. And if we're not, then he can just do his Brazilian magic.
I'll keep him at the back. I just
You're
think
so boring, man.
Sorry, I just think we've already got enough bloody midfielders in midfield, and we don't need another one. I mean, you look at that competition for places. If you look at who you've already got in there already, you think so. We're struggling to get all the midfielders in at the moment. Never mind making another position for a player to go into, which leaves us weak at the back.
Okay, Martin, let me put this to you then: Mangala CDM or Murillo CDM?
Ooh.
Oh, Sangare.
You got to go Mangala. You can't take him out. He's been playing really well, so you don't want to destroy his confidence by upgrading him to a younger model already. So
yeah, but kind of Sangare plays a lot as an 8, doesn't he? Certainly his first couple of games he played as an 8.
Push further forward. Just Sangare push further forward and just start breaking the lines a bit more. And progressive passes, shooting on goal, and adding to the attack more. But
we just need to find a Greg Halford, don't we? Somebody who could just drop into the forward line and score goals.
I don't think
just
Greg
from
Halford
the current crop of players that we've got.
Survived with us in the Premiership, though.
Yeah, maybe the next 2 games we'll just rotate, trying everybody up front.
Yeah.
Are we definitely losing Santos in January? Is he definitely going back? Because imagine you did that. How does he feel? He's come in as a CDM, not been given a minute yet, and yet you're putting a centre back in the CDM position. But I went back I said, look, I think he's going to revert to type. I think Cooper's going to revert to type now. He's all about protecting himself, and his job. And that's what you're going to see. You're not going to see any decent performances. So the performances are out the window. He's going to buy hook or crook by crook. He's going to get results maybe over these next 2 games. And it ain't going to be pretty. And it's going to be no...
Low block, 11 on the goal line, counter attack, score 5 at the back.
That's what I'm anticipating. Yeah, that's what I think he'll do. That's exactly what I think he'll do. Especially now he's got Felipe back. I think he'll go back 3, without a doubt.
On Niakate, how much worth do you think his throwings are to the game? If, let's say, for example, Murillo and Felipe are at the back, if you switch in Niakate for Felipe or instead of Bolly, whoever it may be.
Wait, you said Niakate is CDM now, Ben?
No.
Bring Turner on the CDM and then you can play Turner and Vlachodimos at the same time.
I would play CDM anyway.
There's certain games where Niakate makes a difference up front as well, just with his long throwings.
Put my knackers up front. That's made Wolfie choke. Did you think about how Cooper would like that lineup with Murillo as CDM though? Because that means he'd have a back 6 effectively. He'd love that.
Yeah, ultra low block. He could bring on Worrell as a cheerleader at the start of the match, dressed as a tree.
Dressed as a cheerleader.
Dressed as wood.
Okay, so let's get serious for a second. Is the general consensus 5-4-4 here? Let's go around you lot and chat. Just type in 5-4-4 and chat. I can't be asked another poll. You're all moaning about him. And 73% of you would go Murillo. So Martin, would you go? Let's do a think and a want. Yeah. What do you think Cooper will do? What do you want? 5-4 at the back.
I think Cooper will go to a back 5 because again he knows he needs to pull a result out, and I think he'll go with a back 5. But I personally want to see a back 4. Just stick to the back 4 more balance, more more attacking threat. I think if you start to go down the negative way, then I don't think it's a good idea. But again, that's my opinion anyway.
Okay. Matthew's saying 901. Same double set of questions.
Same answers. A 1 to 4, but I think he'll start with a 5.
Okay. Crypto.
I don't think he'll start with a 5. I think Cooper has in the mindset that he's got to actually win the match now. I don't think a draw is good enough from the pressure that's been on him. If he starts with a back 5, then it's a risky way of trying to maybe snatch a 1-0 win, as opposed to just going for it and win with a few decent goals. So I think personally he'll go with the 4 at the back, and that's what I'd like to see as well.
Okay, I just read that as I flashed it up. Go on, Ez.
I'm convinced he'll go with a back 5, and if I was him and I'd dug myself into the hole that he's dug himself into, I think I'd go back 5 as well, because I disagree with Crypto in terms of his mentality. Because if his mentality was
but that's a giving up mentality.
Yeah, and that was what I saw on Saturday, the giving up mentality. He set up shop against Everton at home with that mentality. So what makes me think that he's going to go away from home to Fulham and change that mentality? I'm surprised he didn't play back 5 against Everton. I think actually it would have worked against them, to be fair. But that's what he's going to, in the situation that he's in now, that's what I'd do as well. If I'd got myself into this mess, I think I'd go back 5 as well.
Yes, okay, let's say it's a back 5. Who plays up front? Because if you're back 5, you're pretty much counter-attacking. So you can't really have Wood there.
Correct.
He's not
Just the wingers.
I wouldn't be playing Wood. No, I wouldn't be playing Wood. Yeah.
Yeah, I would. If he was going to go a back 5, I think he would have to go 5-3-1-1, MGW, and Elanga up front. Now we've got a preview coming out with Fulhamish. I was gonna air it tomorrow morning, but honestly, Jack was so knowledgeable that I'm tempted to put it out tonight. If you guys want it in the chat, let me know. I'll put it on straight after this. He said he would be more scared if we went a back 5. I don't want to ruin the preview for you guys, but he would be quite excited to see Wood on the pitch. He was genuine. He was like, if Wood's on the pitch, yeah, it's like I would be more scared if you put Elanga up front than Wood.
Yeah,
he's winding you up, man. He's winding you up.
No,
honestly. I think. Would you not give Hudson-Odoi a go up front?
No.
I'd put a bit of pace. We're going to be under pressure away at Fulham. Counter attack.
I think
Elanga's too weak up front, but Odoi's a unit, man. He's a unit.
What would you do?
Yeah. I think he's a better finisher than Elanga. I'd go with that formation that you mentioned, 5-3-1-1, and I'd have Hudson-Odoi as the main focal point, because I think his finishing is better, and I think Elanga's faster, but I think trickery wise and finishing wise, I think Hudson-Odoi would be my top
if you did
man,
something like that, would you consider swapping in wing backs such as Nico Williams to provide a bit of pace at the wings?
Yes, I'm going to play wing backs, yes, but over what? I'd play Aina. I don't know why Aina was dropped in the last game. And Toffolo hasn't done anything to deserve to be kind of system. That's where Williams fits in best. So yes, I would be tempted to play Nico Williams. I think he's had a tough run of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I would.
If he's behind a Peckham or behind Aurier, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, I would. He's got more energy to him. You kind of need him in a battlefield.
Martin,
how do you counter-attack low block? Well, if it goes low block and counter-attack, that's your secret weapon Murillo right there with them pinging long passes.
Yeah, Martin, if there's no wingers, who are you going to ping the passes to?
I would play wingers. I'd play 4-3-3.
Yeah, because
if you're playing that Crypto, the whole point is the back 5 is meant to be a back 3, and if you guys are saying Nico Williams on the right, I'm assuming you'd put Einar on the left, and then you get the overlappers who would create the width. but we just never see that because it always ends up a back five.
I'd be
Yeah, but that's
tempted to
what he
see
chooses.
Nico further up the pitch.
Yeah, he chooses players like Serge Aurier over Williams, and Serge Aurier is just not. He's not in form.
I'd still play Toffolo and Einar because he looked all right. That partnership did, although it's not really a partnership at other ends of the pitch. But I'd put Nico further up the pitch.
But who would you drop for Nico?
Well, if you play a 4-2-3-1, which somebody's mentioned, then you've got MGW back in his natural 10 position, haven't you? I mean, what's Cooper got to lose, really? He ain't going to low block his way out of this one. We won't defend for. It won't get Chelsea. That Chelsea result away where we just that was the most amazing defensive masterclass ever. You don't get two of them in a season, I'm afraid.
Which is really ironic when we had our two worst defenders at the back.
They played brilliant though, didn't they?
They did. They played brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, Warren was man of the match.
They did play brilliant, but they're still crap.
Yeah. God, mind what you said?
Chelsea are wasteful in front of goal because I was at that game and Jackson had an open goal 12 yards out.
He was
awful. 6 yards out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The funniest thing, Martin, was a few games later when Jackson scored a hat trick and it got put down as the worst hat trick ever scored.
Against Spurs,
yeah, that was against 9 men. I think I could have scored that. You could have scored that. Anyone really was on the pitch. So
Chris Wood couldn't.
That's true. That's true. Okay, just a quick reminder. The game tomorrow is on Amazon. We do have a 30-day free trial link for you guys. It's pinned in the chat. I think it's in the description as well. If you click on that link, you can sign up. There's no obligation to it. You'll get the Forest game tomorrow. And there's another one in there, Martin, on Amazon. I think it's the Man U game. I think later on in the month.
Just trying to think. Is that on Sky? That's 5:30 on Sky.
It might be the Newcastle one. Anyway, there's 2 games on there. So if you sign up today, that would cover you for both the 30-day free trial. So click that link. If you haven't got it, you might as well do it. We get like £1 or so out of it. So yeah, feel free to do that. But don't be doing Amazon. I hate that ad. It's if you want to watch the Forest game and you're not going, I'm just saying it's your best option. It's your best option. So the link's there. Dino's doing it right now, as you can see on his phone.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at the table because his game's tonight, isn't they?
Yeah.
Forest.
No, you get more than
Luton 1-1 Arsenal. Oh, sorry if I've spoiled it for anybody.
Welcome to 10 minutes ago, Dino. Now we get a little more than that. It's about £1 or something. So it's free to do. So feel free to do it.
Would anyone do what Forest Rise suggested, dropping Morgan Gibbs-White?
Oh, let's check that out, Martin.
Well, I was.
Start with your thoughts on Morgan Gibbs-White, Martin. We haven't heard of him.
I just think I sort of agree with a bit what Ez was saying on the previous streams.
Mate, you're not starting this well if you're agreeing with Ez, but go on.
It's the Morgan Gibbs-White team sometimes, and sometimes he needs to be dropped to know that his place is not taken for granted. Yeah. And if he were to be, say, dropped and you put, say, Derek Aribi up there in that place, hopefully he comes back to do work twice as hard. But you know that he's Cooper's boy, so he's not going to get dropped. But it'd be interesting to see if he dropped him for, say, 45 minutes for a game and then switched it round and play with a false number 9, Hudson-Odoi, Elanga, Origi, and mix it up. It's obviously it's not working, and just change it. Just try different combinations, see what you get.
I don't think he'll drop him though, because he's the one that puts the effort in. Morgan Gibbs-White, even though he has some bad games, he's the one that's running from minute 1 to minute 90, and that's what Cooper needs right now.
What was the match where he did drop him for like the first half though, and then he came on as a sub?
Yeah, and then he was captain next week, wasn't he?
Yeah, he tried.
Makes no sense, does it? It's the captain's curse.
It's
captain's curse at this club.
At the moment, who's going to be captain tomorrow?
We've had more captains this month.
Captain Birdseye tomorrow.
No, I mean, it's
probably the
captains
goalkeeper.
Always get dropped though, don't they? So hopefully Wood's captain.
Yeah, it's curse.
Who do you reckon we're having tomorrow?
Who do you reckon
they're playing goal? Will Turner come back? That's a question.
Oh, good question.
No, I don't. I think they're going to stick with
Is Turner coming back? Because Vacadunus is that his name? Yeah,
yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, well, you may think maybe Turner coming back. All these goals.
I like Turner. I prefer Turner personally, but I don't think he'll drop Vlachodimos
I
tomorrow.
rewatched because a few people were saying Vlachodimos had a bad game last game, which in the stadium I didn't really see too much. But on the when I played back the highlights earlier, he did have a few kind of bad moments, and he nearly made us concede when he gave the ball away as well. So he did look a bit nervous.
I disagree. And my boy, I'll leave my boy Jack. Actually, no, he said it to me off air, so I can share this one. The guy from Fulham, he said that Vlachodimos is one of the best keepers he's seen. He said to me, I bet
This is
I know.
after he said about Wood. He's scared of Wood and Vlachodimos. You sure he's not pulling your piss, mate?
Mate, watch it, honestly. You know what?
Yeah, you got trolled, mate. You got trolled.
Hey,
No, just let me finish.
don't play Worrell. Don't play McKenna. Whatever you do, we'll not score past them.
Don't play Aurier.
No, listen,
Don't play
ladies. Right?
Birtles.
Right, joking aside, the guys we team up with on these pre-match previews are just so good. I've got to say, I thought Maz from Brighton was next level. I thought when we did it with the Villa ones as well, they were just brilliant. In fact, all of them have been fantastic. But Jack's one today was just, I was like, wow, he knows his football. He knows his football. You know how most people, when they come on, they'll be like, oh yeah, Morgan Gibbs-White is your best player, yeah? Listen to what he said about Morgan Gibbs-White on the preview when you watch it. I was just like, I just wanted to applaud him. But anyway, the point I was making,
I think you've been sucked in there, fella.
Wait. The point I was making was on Vlachodimos, right? He said Vlachodimos for him was one of the best keepers he'd seen. He does a lot of work on European football. He said, I guarantee you there's one gripe you'll have with him. And I was like, what is it? He doesn't come out for crosses. I was like, yep. Yep. He won't catch it.
It's flappy.
Yeah, but we're losing all our goals to set pieces. Even the one against Everton started with a cross into the box. From
But he couldn't have claimed that one, Crypto. I mean, Wood got the assist on that.
No,
what about this then? What about this? What about Wood and Origi up front, two of them?
No, they did. They tried that when they subbed them up in one of the games. They were both crap.
Yeah. It's like
I don't want
it's just
two
like,
not make one though.
It really would.
All right, enough of
Someone in the chat said it right earlier. Put Wood and Origi as the corner flags.
All right, let's get serious for a second, right?
I was serious.
Shut up.
All of it was.
Yeah. Score predictions tomorrow. And let's shoot heart and hip, not heart and hip. What's the word I'm looking for? Heart and head. Head and heart. H and H. I'm trying to be serious here, right?
That sounds like a Dalek.
Yeah, well, he looks like one too. He's probably wearing those trousers. That's what it is. Martin. Head says and heart says.
Right. Head says, I think it will be a boring, 0-0, gritty, grindy, disgusting, ugly, low blocky game you'll ever see. That's what the head thinks. Hopefully, Fulham's used all the goals up at Anfield, because I was actually quite surprised at Fulham taking the game to Liverpool and bashing all those goals in at Anfield. Just wow. So, yeah, 0-0, what the head thinks. The heart thinks, I can't back Forest to lose. I know other people have backed Forest to lose. Oops, sorry.
You can name me. That's fine.
I can't do it. So, smash and grab 1-0. Fingers crossed we can, score the last kick of the game and snatch the 3 points and just get back down the motorway and happy days.
Back up, you mean? Okay. Who's more deluded, you or your brother?
Both equal. Oh God, my brother. I've just seen that. Yeah.
Wood hat trick.
He's probably had a cheeky drink. I don't know. I think if it's come to me, sorry. I think my head is. I think we'll lose 2-0. My heart, if those players bust a gut tomorrow for their manager, 0-0. No better.
Wow, what an effort. You see no scenario in Forest winning?
I'm just thinking of what we got up front, really.
Mm.
So your head says Fulham, your
Lost
heart
2-0.
says draw.
A
What
draw,
does your
yeah.
arsehole say? Do I have to go that low to get a Forest result out of you?
Oh, don't know, let me pull a rabbit out of it. Oh, they've all ran out. Cooper borrowed the last one. Just stealing from us. I love that as.
I think my head says, purely based on the Everton game, I think we'll lose 1-0. Heart says 2-1 to Forest. I think we've got to be positive, haven't we? I know it's hard when we've got Wood up front, but there must as Wolverine was saying in his video earlier, there are ways around it. We can create goals if we change the formation up. So hopefully Cooper does that tomorrow. And in the words of Dino, I hope we have an exciting game, even if we get smashed 5-0.
What does your asshole say?
I didn't say that. 5-0, did I?
My asshole says 69-0 Forest.
You love that 69. Have we got El Trousers there? Is he just
As trousers?
I'm here. I don't know how laggy I am.
What did you say?
As Kex. Right, my head's saying, listen. My head's saying that I saw Willian come on against Liverpool the other day, and I felt like he changed the game for them. I think he's going to start against us and batter us. I think we'll lose 3-0. But my heart's saying, my heart's not in it, mate. I'm really fed up with this at the moment. So I'm not going to go in it with any positive anticipations. I want to be surprised. But even my heart's saying there's nothing, we're not going to get anything out of tomorrow. So
what's your FPL team saying? Have you got any Forest players in that?
My FPL team saying, hell no. Hell
no. Not if you want to do well in it.
That's what it's saying. No.
Seriously.
I might bring Willian in though.
Keeps us says he's using a shoehorn to get out of his trousers.
Shoehorn. That's such an old thing to do, shoehorn.
You're all talking about Will I Am, right? But my boy Jack has told me he's been crap this season. So, and he said that, and I will post this straight after so you guys can watch it, right? I'll send it for a premiere at
I've never known anybody to pull the wool over your eyes like this, Jack guy.
You watch it and you tell me by the end of it, you're not lapping on every word he says. Honestly, he's just amazing.
I don't need to. I can see you do.
Love him. Love him. Jack for next Forest manager. All right, I guess that leaves me. What do I say? I don't know. Can I just say I don't know?
No.
Yeah, maybe the pitch will be frozen. Pitch will be frozen. We'll get a PP result. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
that's our best hope.
Martin,
yeah.
Can you imagine that, Martin? You go all the way
down, can down the road a little bit more.
Martin, the
game
gets
it'd be better than watching the game, Martin. How would you feel? Joking aside, how would you feel? You get all the way down to Fulham, man. Old King's Road and all that. Yeah. Sorry, lads. It's a PP.
Yeah, Wolfie, look at that. There's a theme coming here, mate. You're not. You'll end this stream and you'll go, I've been so stupid.
If it was a Saturday afternoon, you wouldn't mind it. But with it being a freezing cold midweek game, you'd be like, oh, for God's sake.
But don't worry, the next day you'll have Big Norm entertaining you. In for a penny. Don't forget, Thursday from 6:30, the doors open. We will be there. I'm just gonna say Forest are gonna win because this is gonna be the most Foresty of Forest results. When you think they're gonna lose, we always win. And Wood will score no goals. I can't see it. Own goals maybe. I think Forest will take it.
Jack, what he says.
Jake says what he says on there, and I just, by the end of it, I was just agreeing with him. I was like, "You're right, Jack. You're always right."
Wood couldn't score in a brothel. He's not going to score tomorrow.
That's so a hat trick in coming.
On
that note, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. I will set the match preview. You're going to love it, guy. Honestly, love him, Jack. I'll set it for 5 minutes or so for 9 o'clock. Keep the chat going in there. And yeah, we'll see you. It's the game tomorrow. Shit. We'll see you for the watch along tomorrow.
Yeah.
Come on, you Reds.
Come on, you Jacks.
You
Reds.
Love you, Jack.
Love you, Jack.